Lesson 2.1 Problem Solving, Organized Data. Use the favorite school subjects tables for numbers 1 through 3. Number 1. The students in two third grade classes recorded their favorite school subject. The data are in a tally table. How many fewer students chose science than chose social studies as their favorite school subject? Think. Use the data in the tally table to record the data in the frequency table. Then solve the problem. So we're going to start by circling any important words we have, and we're going to underline the question because the question tells us what to do. So the question says how many fewer students chose science than chose social studies as their favorite school subject. We're going to circle how many fewer. How many fewer lets us know that we are going to subtract. So when we see the word how many fewer, we know we're subtracting. And also, we're going to circle science. And we're going to circle social studies. Now, we don't have any numbers for social studies and science, so that's why we're going to use the tally table and the frequency table. So we also have to use the data in the tally table to record the data in the frequency table to solve the problem. So we're going to start with the subjects. Let's count math. Math had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 students chose math as their favorite subject. So I'm going to write down 11. Now let's count science. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 5 students who chose science as their favorite subject. And we already have the 5 here. Now language arts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7. 7 students chose language arts as their favorite. For reading, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. For reading, we had 9. And social studies, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So social studies had 12 and it's written for us already. Now we know the two subjects we were comparing was science and social studies. And we know we're going to be subtracting because the question said how many fewer. So social studies had 12 students and science had 5 students. 12 minus 5 equals 7. So 7 fewer students chose science. Number 2, what subject did the least number of students choose? So the word least means the smallest amount. The subject that had the least amount of votes, the smallest amount of votes. And this is 11, we have 5, we have 7, we have 9, and we have 12. Out of these numbers, 5 was the lowest number. So what subject is that? Science. Number 3, how many more students chose math than language arts as their favorite subject? So keywords, how many more? We know that means to subtract. So I'm going to put a subtraction sign next to it. And we're going to be comparing math. So I'm going to circle math and language arts. So how many students chose math? It was 11. How many students chose language arts? 7 students chose language arts. So I put a 7 next to the language arts and we start subtracting. 11 minus 7 equals 4. So our answer is 4 more students. Number 4, give one example of when you would make a frequency table to solve a problem. So one example we can do to use a frequency table would be if we were voting on favorite food. So voting on a third grade class So voting on a third grade class's favorite food. The tally table shows the cards in Kyle's sport card collection. Number 1, how many hockey and football cards does Kyle have combined? So, so we're going to look for hockey and football, and the word combined means to add. So first, let's find out how many hockey cards and football cards Kyle had. So let's count all of them. For baseball, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. For hockey, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basketball, 1, 2, 3. Football, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But we had to find just hockey and football. So hockey and football. Hockey had 5 and football had 8. So we know we have to combine them, and that means to add. So we're going to add 5 plus 8. And 5 plus 8 equals 13. Number 2, there are 472 people in the concert hall. What is 472 rounded to the nearest hundred? So we know we're going to circle our important numbers, 472, and we have to round it to the nearest hundred. So 472 is between 400 and 500, but it is closer to 500 when we are rounding to the nearest hundred. So 472 rounds to 500. Number 3, Max and Anna played a video game as a team. Max scored 463 points and Anna scored 329 points. How many points did they score? So Max scored 463, Anna scored 329, and we always underline our question because it tells us what we need to find. How many points did they score? How many means to add. So I'm going to put a plus sign here. So let's add 463 plus 329. 29. We start with a ones place. 3 plus 9 is 12. We carry our 1. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 2 is 9. We go to the hundreds place. 4 plus 3 is 7. So they scored 792 points. Number 4. Judy has 573 baseball cards in her collection. Todd has 489 baseball cards in his collection. How many fewer cards does Todd have than Judy? So let's circle our important numbers and keywords. Judy had 473 baseball cards. Todd had 489 baseball cards. We always underline our question because it tells us what to do. Now we see the word how many fewer. How many fewer lets us know we are going to be subtracting. So I put a subtraction sign next to how many fewer. Now, the numbers we're going to subtract, 573 minus 489. We start with the ones place. 3 minus 9, we can't do that. So this 3 has to borrow from the tens place. It takes 1 away from this 7. This 7 now becomes a 6. And this 3 becomes a 13. 13 minus 9 equals 4. Now in the tens place, it's no longer 7 minus 8. It is 6 minus 8. But we can't do that. So we have to borrow from the hundreds place. So this 6 goes to its neighbor and it borrows 1 from the 5. So now the 5 becomes a 4. And now this 6 can become a 16. Now 16 minus 8 equals 8. And now in the hundreds place, it's no longer 5 minus 4. It is 4 minus 4. And 4 minus 4 is 0. So since it's in the last place, which is the hundreds, we leave it blank. So 84 fewer. Number 5. Miss Weston drove 542 miles last week and 378 miles this week on business. How many miles did she drive on business during the 2 weeks? So we're going to circle our important numbers, 542 and 378. And we underline our question, how many miles did she drive on business during the 2 weeks? So we know how many means to add. So I'm going to put a plus sign. So we're going to add both of the weeks. The first week was 542. The second week was 378. Now we add the ones place. 2 plus 8 equals 10. We carry our 1. 1 plus 4 equals 5. 5 plus 7 equals 12. We carry our 1 over to the hundreds place. 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. So during the 2 weeks, she drove 920 miles.